Welcome as we call to order regular council meeting on this, the 18th day of August 2020 at 6 p.m. We will now stand. Councilman Tommy Good will lead us in the opening prayer, and then Councilman Michael Searcy will lead us in the pledge.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for life. Thank you for our fabulous, wonderful country, the privileges and opportunities that you've given us. Help us to treasure them. Help us to remember your presence at all times. Please forgive us when we fail you. In Christ's precious name.
Amen. Let's fly.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible.
Okay, the first order of business, we do have a quorum here present. All things were legal. We had it posted Friday. So we had our 72 hours on post notice that everyone is fully qualified here to have this meeting. Citizens' comments, non-agenda items. If you have one, and you can dial in now, or whatever you need to do to get into it, you can make those comments. Okay? No?
No citizens on there.
No citizens on there, so we'll move to citizens' comments on the agenda items. Do we have any of those? All right. We'll wait a minute.
Still no citizens on.
Yeah, probably no citizens at any time. Okay. All right, we'll move along. Time for presentations and announcements. We do have some good news, rather good news. The election process will probably not happen this year because we as in myself, Michael Searcy, and Henry Pace did not draw it apart. So it looks like without a write-in candidate coming up later, we probably will not have one. So we'll not have an election. We can save some money. So that will be a good thing. Save a lot of time and a lot of trouble. So anyway, we'll move right along.
We got another presentation.
Randy Boyd is here, and he wants to talk to us a little bit about our water situation.
I'm here to answer any questions you may have. If you noticed the taste and odor of the water here the past few days, there was several circumstances that had caused it. We were doing some scheduled maintenance at our Henderson pump station in Kilgore, which drew the lake down. And once we got the pumps, once the services were completed at the pump station, we started the pumps and we had another major leak on the Henderson Kilgore transmission line. We did get it fixed today. We are receiving water and the lake level is rising. Another circumstance with the lake being so low, it turned over. That meaning that all the organics and all the sediment that was at the bottom just went to the top, and that's where we pull our water for the plant. I actually sent Jay a picture of what we treat while we're pulling in the plant and what is leaving. We're doing a really good job on removing all the color, but we're having issues removing the taste and odor. We're still working on it, and hopefully by the end of the week we'll have it under control. So we either got, you can deal with the clarity and deal with the taste, or you can deal with discolored water from our well fields, which we are adding polyphosphate to remedy that situation as well. So I've been hit on my well field side and the surface water side, just different problems in the past 2 weeks. So I was just here to answer any questions, or if y'all had anything.
See two different colors of water there.
A lot of difference.
And when the lake turned over, it created like an algae bloom. It just give the algae nutrients to flourish in the lake. So it's just something that very oddly happens. And I just want to apologize. And I know my guys have been working 24 hours a day trying to get this under control.
We appreciate it.
Anyway, and not to mention that we've had, the water treatment plant has 4 filters. We're actually down to just trying to treat the water with 3 filters for the time being. So Jay knows all the circumstances on it on filter 1.
Yes.
With, we got new under drains coming in, replacing, recoating the surfaces. That should be completed by the end of the month, hopefully. We're just now waiting for the material to arrive. They recommend us get inside and recoat the hole inside the filter, so that'll be completed Wednesday night. We will try to do it at night because they recommend us not to be in direct sunlight when we're coating the filter to slow down the drying time. But if y'all have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer.
I think in the next report, we'll have plenty of pictures and explanations on that process, that filter and all that. I know, what are those black, what are they called?
They're called IMS caps.
IMS caps. They're all held down with, screws, and I think I calculated there's like, 12 or 1,600 screws that they're gonna have to pull out of that thing to get all those replaced and pull that, so they got their work cut out.
I hope they're stainless steel screws.
Yes, sir. I did talk with
You'll
Leopold.
never get them out.
Jay, I did talk with Leopold yesterday, and was just asking if we could go ahead and just remove all the screws and leave the caps in until the new ones arrive. He said that would be wonderful. It would speed up the process once the materials arrive.
Okay. Thank you, Rick.
Okay, thank you, Randy.
Any questions, Randy? My math changed your name exactly.
Yeah.
When I said it, was correct.
Came out.
Filtered that wrong. Yeah.
Do,
Just so you guys know, KLTV will be airing a piece tonight at 10 p.m. about the Henderson ISD School Resource Program and our new K-9 unit out there. Chief Taylor and Director of Communications David Chenault are both in that interview, along with Officer Case and Barney.
okay.
So just want to let y'all know.
10 o'clock. Oh, thereabouts. Okay, great.
You
Anything
think
from the
we're out
council?
here in time?
There was also an article in the Longview paper, I don't know if you saw that.
Longview paper,
Yeah, I saw
KETK, KLTV. I think the Henderson newspaper will also be doing something on it. So yes, I've seen some of them, not all of them yet.
KLTV had it posted on their Facebook page.
Oh, good. Cheryl even made it on the paper.
Nice.
Really?
All right, there you go, Mayor.
Have to cut that out and frame it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else from the council? Do we have anything we need to bring up at this point in time? Okay, with that being said, we'll move forward and go on to the consent agenda. Consent agenda items are considered to be routine in nature and may be acted upon in one motion. Any item requiring additional discussion may be withdrawn from the consent agenda by the mayor, a council member, or the city manager and acted upon separately. Okay? Are we ready to make a motion?
I make a motion we approve the consent agenda. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay, all opposed, like sign. Consent agenda stands approved. We'll now move on down to the regular session of council business. That would be starting with item number 6. Okay, we're going to open a public hearing at 6:13 p.m. to receive citizen input on the proposed budget for fiscal year 2020-2021. Okay?
make sure that phone is forwarded.
Gotcha.
So if anybody gets calling me, we'll make sure that it's in here.
Yeah, we're checking the connection line, so there's not
We just keep that.
a problem with audio, it's just we're got a little dead air time right here.
We'll keep it open, the hearing open.
If that line is forwarded, does it still ring? And then it just forward?
No,
It doesn't even ring.
It rings
He
directly.
goes to the conference service here.
And then, it'll automatically give them the opportunity to put in the numbers they need to, and then probably the lady will see them there. Anybody come on, differently?
Okay, with no calls coming in, I would, ask for a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Motion has been made and seconded, all in favor, please raise your right hand. Like sign opposed, public hearing stands closed at 6:16 p.m. We'll move down to now to item number 7. That's to open a public hearing to receive citizen input on the 2020 tax rate. And, the drill will be the same. Call in, go ahead and call in now. We have the line activated. And,
I will say, Mayor, just as a reminder, the tax rate that we are proposing is the identical tax rate that we currently had last fiscal year. No change, up or down there. And our, of course, something we can't control with the appraised value came in at almost flat, just barely under. So that puts us our revenue a little bit lower than last year. So with that being said, the budget is, very similar as far as that goes. Actually just other revenues that we looked at, and we might have adjusted a little with sales tax. But from the property tax side, that is pretty much identical for both. From our side anyway,
that's a good thing.
the rate is identical.
Are we clear on the phone calls? Okay. With no calls coming in, I'd like to ask for a motion to close the public hearing on the tax rate.
So moved.
Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor, please raise your right hand. All right. Like sign opposed. Item number 7 stands approved. We'll now move to item number 8 on the agenda. That's consideration and possible action on the second reading of ordinance 2020-07-44 for the head code to annex property into the city limit known as lots 2 and 3 of block 1050 Southwest Industrial Park located on Frisco Street. Okay, we've had this once before, so I think y'all are familiar with this already. And it's,
After this, approval of this, it won't be on the agenda again, but I will start sending it in to all the powers to be to move our boundary lines and include that property into our city limits.
okay. we have a motion? Tommy?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please raise your right hand. All right. Like sign opposed? No opposition? Thank you. Item number 8 stands approved. Item number 9 on the agenda is consideration and possible action upon the second reading of a stop sign ordinance number 2020-07-45. Chief Taylor, I believe you want to tell us about that a little bit.
Mayor, Council, there are some questions that was brought up at our last meeting in reference to Slade and Briarwood. We have struck that, we'll just leave the stop signs there, and then we also added that all main streets, north, south, east, and west, any intersecting city or street that does not have a stop sign, will add one. And of course, this is probably going to be a document that may be modified again, but currently that's what we're taking care of.
Trust that at Briarwood and Sladen, that was done because that's the way it needs to be, not because I was questioning it.
Well, when we sent the lieutenant out to do the report on it, to check on it, that was just his suggestion on it. It's, the stop signs are probably even better than what the suggestion was.
Yeah. The intention was to make sure we had signs in places that didn't have signs. And if they needed a stop sign or if they needed a yield sign, that was what we wanted to do. We weren't trying to change a stop sign to a yield sign or you know, if we needed to go to a stop sign,
Then we would.
from a yield sign, we would do that, but, he was just looking at every intersection as if nothing was there from, then what that looked like. So there might have been some confusion on our part too, detective, but it was a good point that, you know, with the stop sign, we'll just leave it alone. We'll leave it there, so,
I'm not a traffic engineer, but
no,
I just knew there were 3 there and I didn't.
no.
Is there any further questions?
As Chief Taylor stated, this will be a living document. This thing will change.
Yes,
So it's in the end of it. I mean, we'll find more stuff. Steve will see some more. I'll see some more. Jay will see some more. And we'll all kind of chime in on this thing because it's gonna take a while. This will not be an overnight situation either.
thank you, sir.
Okay, do I hear a motion to approve?
Make a motion to be approved.
Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor? Raise your right hand. Okay. Like sign opposed. Item number 9 stands approved. Item number 10 is to discuss potential terms and conditions for an agreement with Headco on a possible move for them to 502 West Main Street. Jay, you want to prompt that a little bit?
Absolutely, and John's not here to defend himself, and we're not gonna promote him on the Zoom meeting either, but because I told him I had full control of this meeting, he kind of threw us under the bus a little bit at the EDC meeting, so I'm just joshing with him, but he said we're evicting them, which I guess is kind of true, but ultimately, in the end, there's kind of a 3 or 4 piece deal here, and I think I spoke with most of you about it, but the CAC that moved out of the facility right here next to the court. That building is owned by the city, as you know, and so they moved over to the highway, the old PD, I guess, and the building that was owned by the city and the EDC, and they sold it to Bank Investments, and then they're leasing it out there to a CAC. They needed more room, and so that works out really well for them. So with us in the spot, okay, now we have another facility that's empty. What do we want to do with it? And so we went and looked at it for the first time. Cheryl and I walked over, we just kind of started running through it and trying to figure out, okay, where's the need? What do we have within the city? And one thing that popped up real quick is the community center, we really want to get it back to where it's being rented out and utilized a little bit more than what it is. And right now it's just not being used. Ever since the Civic Center's been on board and Meals on Wheels has kind of been in charge of the reservations and whatnot, it's just not being utilized like it should. So we want to see it as a back on the revenue stream, I guess, for us and being utilized by the community a lot better than what the community center has been used. So that being said, we thought, the way this building is set up, there's an opportunity in the back of it for Meals on Wheels to possibly move there. So we're gonna meet with them. We've already had some discussions, but we'll meet with them on site to show them the facility, see what might be needed there, and how that might work. We also have an office at the community center that's being used by staff for Experience Works, another entity that works on training, workforce type training for senior adults, I guess is what it's for, very specific. She's not there every day, a couple of days a week. She needed an address and an office to be able to go to. So she's using an office right now over at the community center. Again, there's another opportunity for that person to be moved over here, and then allow the community center to truly just be the community center and redone over there. And so we talked also about EDC. EDC has a need for a little more space, specifically with files and stuff, and then also their own meeting space from a conference room standpoint. They always go to the Civic Center and use that boardroom, which works out great, but just having to transport files and different things back and forth, it's always good for EDC to kind of be in-house. So we have an opportunity over here to put them into a spot where they have more space for storage and space to build out a conference room where they can have their own public meetings over there as well with that board. So, and then it allows us here at City Hall, as we've expanded and added some key positions with what we have. The most recent is Cindy Henry, and Cindy, we got her in the back office back here kind of by herself. Not the best use of the facility, so this will allow some other changes here at City Hall for us to be able to have some space as well. So it's just some growing pains and trying to figure out the best way to use that building. If we didn't feel like we could use it, then the best thing to do would probably be to find somebody to lease it to or whatever, then we could do that or just sell it outright. But we do have some needs for some growth there, and I think it'll benefit everybody all the way around. We are currently looking at our internal crew that Matt and his guys are public services to do the remodeling, to look at remodeling that building. So we've been doing that. We've had the inspection piece kind of looking at it. We're looking at asbestos and everything else that we need to go through the full process to remodel that in-house. And what the agreement is that we want to be able to work on is that HEDCO would move over there. They would pay for the remodel materials, estimated about $15,000. The labor would come from our internal construction crew to what we do. And then the city would just continue on. We'll take on the monthly utilities over there. There's no gas, it's just electric, and they'll still use our same phone and our same server piece that they always use. The phone service and the internet, we'll have to get that over there. So we can probably do it without creating a whole lot of extra accounts. I mean, electricity is one thing, but the rest of it we might be able to work on. Mike was excited about being able to possibly work on that, and Mr. Timmons as well. And so, anyway, that's what we're looking at, and we want to be, they'll still, currently right now, they pay us $1,500, I believe, annually for their E&O insurance. They'll continue to do that, but there won't be any other fees or rent or lease things for them from a monetary standpoint that they'll do. They want to stay close to us, the City Hall complex. I think it's important that we're right across the parking lot from each other. So that's what we want to put into an agreement. I just want to give you kind of an update and anything else that you want to see into said agreement as we move forward with them. HEDCO board did approve this and the budget amendment for them moving forward. We want to put an agreement together. It's basically going to be a lease, and I'll work with Mr. Shoemate on that interlocal agreement that will kind of work as a lease, I guess. And we'll come back to you guys in September for that approval on that agreement. Same thing with the HEDCO board. They will meet right before you guys do next month. So that agreement will be coming. But if there's any details or questions or anything you want in it, now is the perfect time to kind of talk through that. So, and we will also have in the agreement, Mr. Shoemate will make sure that the candy bowl from HEDCO does stay here, and they have to keep it filled for us. Yes. So that will make sure we'll put that.
And that's the sweeten the deal.
There you go. There you go. So,
I would like to add that there's a correction to that address on the agenda. That is 500 West Main.
Oh, 500.
It is 500 West Main instead of 502.
yeah, we might be needing to move somebody else out. We leave 502.
Yeah, that's true.
Cause a different problem, wouldn't it?
Council, this item number 10 was for discussion and information only, so there's no vote.
Yeah. Any other questions or concerns at all?
Yeah. Any more discussion?
Okay. If y'all think of anything, let me know and we'll work it into the agreement.
All right, we'll move to item number 11 at this time. That's consideration and possible action upon budget amendment number 3. Karen?
Yes. Good evening. I'll try talking with this, project more.
Talk loud.
Okay.
Get loud.
It's that time of year with the budget where we get to look at amending it. And I think you have before you the amendment, this time it's for the general fund. We're looking at the fire department and the police department. With the fire department, it's in vehicles, 26,000. And then they received from the Russ County Emergency Services District 1 some money. They're using that to cover some bunker gear. And so that was money that we didn't have budgeted, so we put it in the revenue and then we increased that capital expense for that bunker gear. The police department, they had, we're amending their overtime. They have a DEA task force officer that we're reimbursed their overtime. And so that money that we have received, I'm putting it back into the police department's overtime. So that's revenue that we've received that we did not have budgeted. So we're increasing the revenue and that overtime expense. Also with their vehicle line items, unfortunately accidents happen throughout the year. We have in touch with TML. And so when we get those claims covered, then we put that in the miscellaneous revenue. So that miscellaneous revenue has built up, and so that's where I'm taking the revenue for the fire department and the police department into their vehicles from the TML claims, and we've had some other miscellaneous revenue that's come in throughout the year. So getting that budget up to where it is, because I think we only budgeted about 20,000 in miscellaneous. We have like 120,000 that we brought in miscellaneous. The police department also received a grant from the Texas Eastern 911 that we didn't know about that. That's like a nice surprise for them, and they're going to be able to use that for I think their dispatch area and communications. Also with the tactical equipment grant, I think we budgeted to get 19,000. We actually got 22,000, so that 3,000 is increasing that area. And I believe Chad said they're expecting even more money from the Texas Eastern 911 to about 100,000. Yeah. So, and that will most likely happen before the, this budget year end. We may get it in September. So probably back again, October, November to amend this final budget and including that. That of course we won't be able to spend it all before September 30th, pretty sure. So that'll just carry over and they'll be able to use that in next year's budget. We'll roll that over for them. I think that kind of covers it. Any questions?
Okay. That being said, do I hear a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor, please raise your right hand. Like sign opposed. Item number 11 stands approved. Thank you, Karen. Okay, item number 12. Jay, do you want to make a comment about that?
Yeah, so, and this is gonna be, is this the,
That's it. I don't know. Strike.
is it 12 or 11?
I've got over there in 26 here.
No, it's 13, this ordinance.
Oh, okay.
So, okay, it's gonna be 12 are good, 13 the one.
Okay, we'll move to 12.
Yes, that's fine. Go ahead and read 12 if you want.
Number 12, consideration and possible action upon entering into an interlocal agreement with TML for health benefits. Okay,
about a little bit in our budget workshop, and since then, we had a very favorable bid on our health insurance to move, from TML, so we can move, our health insurance from Blue Cross Blue Shield to, TML. This is just the interlocal agreement, not the interlocal agreement, it's just a regular agreement, or it's an interlocal, I don't have it in front of me. It is an interlocal agreement with them to do the our health insurance, it also just changed to them instead of Blue Cross Blue Shield. Just y'all's approval that we'll fill in the blanks on that interlocal agreement and send it to them. Just part of the process in switching the healthcare, but it did save us 150, 160, I don't remember what it was.
Right, as far as what the premium is
Yeah.
compared to Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Yes.
Renewal, it was under about $140,000.
About $140,000 annually. And as much as for family folks on our insurance, employees with family and all on the insurance, that premium, they'll save about $100 a month on that premium. So that's a significant change, significant reduction. Insurance continues to go up and up and up. So this is an opportunity for it to go the other direction. So we're going to take advantage of that while we can. So just need an approval, a motion to approve that interlocal agreement.
Do I hear a motion? Or is there any discussion?
Same coverage.
Same. Yes.
Better, a little better.
In the end, it's going to be
TML even agreed to go ahead and roll over anybody's deductible that's being paid up. They're gonna honor that on theirs throughout the rest of the year.
Right. All right, Tommy made the motion. Henry, second, all in favor, please raise your right hand. All opposed, like sign. Item number 12 stands approved. Okay, now we're.
Item 13. So item 13 talks about an ordinance related to TML, and it's specifically talking about being able to insure elected officials and retirees. That's really for if we were adding that to something that we were not already doing. So we thought we needed that, but we clarified with TML and Joe at TML earlier, just within the last hour or so. And he said, no, you don't really have to do it. They were right by sending that to you, but we don't have to have that. If you guys already have that in place and you have that coverage, there's no need for a new ordinance. So we'll just show them prove up what we already have in place for them. So with that being said, I just suggest we strike that item 13 from the agenda. That's not something that is actually done.
Okay. It is so done. We don't have to vote on that either. We'll move to item number 13, consideration and possible action upon ordinance 2020-0846, changing health benefit coverage from Blue Cross Blue Shield to TML.
That's the one we're striking there.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let's go to, I got too many marks here. That's okay. Item number 14 is departmental reports. I think you all have copies of those reports in your possession, or you should have. I'm not sure. We got a couple of managers here, 3. Y'all need to bring forward anything.
I'd like to let you guys know, we recently updated a key portion of our website. The majority of it's live. We still have a couple of things that are kind of pending final design and creation, but the police department portion of our website has been completely revamped. So I would recommend you take a peek at it. We're pretty proud of it. Chad and his entire department have worked very closely with me to make those changes and make that a little bit more friendly and user friendly specifically. So just wanted to let you guys know about that piece of our website.
Thank you, Libby.
So I'd like to throw in a big thank you to Lady about that. She really worked hard on that.
Okay.
And she got with everybody. That was key in getting that together. We're still working on a few odds and ends, but really good job on that right there.
Okay, good deal. Okay. That being said, we'll move into executive session at 6:39 PM. We'll return back into to regular session here from the executive session. And we'll move to item number 17, it's the time for adjournment. So I hear a motion to adjourn.
Mayor, I've got a couple of questions.
You go right ahead.
Before we adjourn, you go right ahead. Did y'all see the sales tax receipts that came out today?
I have not, and then,
It's $160,000 less than what we got last year.
really?
No, I'm kidding, it's up.
Okay.
Oh, I was like, wait, wait,
Your numbers are 160, let's.
That's not what Darren just said.
Let me use this for a second. Yeah, no, yeah, I think we were up another 26% or
Kidding.
something like that.
It was 20, yeah, it was good. I got the numbers.
Yeah, it's been, that's April sales, May sales and June sales that we just.
It was up 24.79%.
That is.
It was 677,410 versus 542,836 this time last year.
130.
135,000. And then the other question I had was, are we getting any closer to making a decision on the surf festival? I know you had said end of August and we're.
I'm glad you said that. I meant to bring that up in my report. I'll talk about that. So, what we're gonna do, we're trying to work out, next week, we're gonna have a meeting on the 26th. And we're gonna, with, county officials, health officials, Suzanne, everybody involved that can be there. And, kind of talk through it and maybe come to a conclusion on what we need to do. We kind of chose that time frame based off of when school was starting back up, thinking that, kind of give us a couple of weeks, 2.5 weeks, to be able to kind of see how that's working. One thing we are wanting to do, that I want to do, is I want to hear from our downtown, not just downtown businesses, but specifically downtown businesses and related to the surf festival, and hear ideas that we can, I want to hear their side of it, and hear the ideas. Nobody wants to cancel it. We know that we don't want to cancel it, but trying to have a group, and gather a crowd is very difficult unless you can kind of contain it one way or the other, control, help control face covering, different things like that. It'd be very difficult to do. So, we'll see what ideas some downtown businesses may come up with. We want to be all ears to that, and that's important to me. And I told them that. Conversations I've had with them and some emails and stuff, that's the most important piece for me is our local businesses here in their economy, not the vendors that come from out of town necessarily, without the things that are in town too, though. But it's the local businesses that are affected, and we want to find a way to keep pushing them. So, any ideas that you guys and girls might have for us on that? I'm all ears for that too. So, we're definitely getting opinions on both extremes, like we do everything else when it comes to things like this. It'll be difficult. Like I know United Way Board met 2 days ago, or yesterday, and the Taste of Rusk County, United Way puts on was canceled. The board canceled that, so you'll be seeing that come out. We haven't already. About 85% of nonprofit related, which includes cities, United Ways, chambers, counties, whatever, about 85% of those events around Texas and the area we're seeing are canceled. That's the stat that we got yesterday. So we're gonna have to figure it out. There may be ways to do some things to help from the economy standpoint for our businesses, but I think the festival as is going to be very difficult to do.
Do we have a big jump in cases over the last day or two? And I say that because KLTV had like 345 cases cases, but the newspaper had like 395 cases.
Yeah, I think we're at the 340 something, 340 sounds right. It might bring
We're
it
down to,
email.
we're down to 42 or 43 active.
Yeah. Those of them all have been recovered, so that's still only we have the 2 deaths. Yeah. 2 deaths is about, you got 300, almost 300.
What's the total though? What's the total number? Nine.
I'm pulling it up.
Okay, 363.
The report that came out yesterday evening was, there were 354 total. There's 43 active with 309 recovered and 2 deaths. And then there's a handful of cases in the prison system, TDCJ.
We did it 2 deaths for what, 3 months?
They were March and April.
May, June, July, we're not 4 months.
You gotta remember one thing, there's no patients, COVID patients in our hospital.
Yeah.
According to Mark told me it wasn't any in the hospital. So apparently we're not taking them, we're not putting them in there yet.
She can either confirm or deny.
Well, I'm just talking about what it's.
I'm not saying nothing.
The one person who really liked it, some people talk.
Yeah, mask on, you
can't see your eyes.
The poker face.
Can't see your eyes.
Yeah, so we're working towards it, so. Don't have any suggestions.
I think we all kind of agree that we can't do the festival as it normally is. But there's some outside the box ideas, I just don't know what they all are yet. Something I saw in Dallas when they canceled the state fair. Well, the food vendors for the state fair have been going around DFW kind of doing a drive-through style where you can go get your funnel cakes, your corn dogs, and whatever other fun fried fair food you can come up with. Well, turkey legs, fried Twinkies and fried Oreos and fried ice cream and everything else.
Henry fried, whatever you want fried.
We got enough parking lots, we could probably swing a few of those drive-through fair food.
No, that's on my diet anymore, but yeah.
Oh, I'd be miserable, but that one per year.
I'm not,
Yeah.
make a motion to adjourn.
Do I hear a second? Motion had been made and second. All in favor, please raise your right hand. All opposed, like sign. We stand adjourned at 7:19 p.m.